Hello, beautiful, present, and loving people. So now that we're out of the ceremony, let's talk a little bit about the integration of peak experiences. And let me share a few tips at the end of this short video on what to do in your day following the ceremony and going forward so that this peak experience actually gets integrated and embodied and we start living according to that expanded, more loving, more present, powerful version of ourselves that we saw. And so let me talk briefly about what a peak experience is. So we spoke about awareness and sensitivity going up, right, in the ceremony, and we actually experienced that. And this process is endless, and so life becomes more brighter and juicier, and so on. And so our awareness and sensitivity, they actually grow across time as we evolve in ceremony and out of ceremony, just in life, right? So as we live our life, well, we evolve. And so our awareness and sensitivity grows over time, slowly but steadily. It's not really a straight line, it's kind of little ups and downs there, but the trend is to go up. And so just before the peak experience, well, this is the point in time just before going into a ceremony, or it doesn't have to be a plant medicine experience, any peak experience really. It could be a smaller peak experience, a bigger peak experience, could be just a meditation, could be going to some kind of a sauna treatment like a Russian banya is a peak experience essentially, or a guided meditation, a powerful activation, um, anything really. Life consists of peak experiences. And so here we are. We get into an experience like metamorphosis, and we experience this peak in our awareness and sensitivity. They go up. And then as we go out of the ceremony of that peak experience, they start to go down. And so the cool thing is that we don't go to the same kind of baseline of our awareness and sensitivity levels. Rather, we essentially put ourselves onto a new timeline, onto a new life scenario where our awareness and sensitivity are even higher than before. So literally a new life scenario, new timeline. And so this is where integration comes into play. Um, how different this timeline is going to be from the one we were on actually it depends on integration. So if we, for example, go out of the ceremony or the peak experience and we do not do any integration, we start rushing and going back to our old habits, well, then it may be that the timeline will not be that different. It will be because we did have the peak experience, but maybe very, very slightly. So it will fade away and it will become something of a kind of a distant memory, some beautiful memory from the past that we cannot even recall in details. We just remember that it was something enjoyable and beautiful. And if we do more of the integration of this experience, then we set ourselves on a higher timeline. And really, it's unlimited. So that's why integration after peak experiences is so important, because that's where we actually change our life, which is what we're after. And so let me share a few tips now of what to actually do to help with the integration process, so that then we can use these peak experiences in a more conscious, aware way, where we ride that momentum, where we surf that wave of increased awareness and sensitivity, and hence improve our life. So we change ourselves, and then our reality shifts and changes. And so here are some tips for you to integrate peak experiences. Well, more than anything, it's really taking care of yourself, taking care of your energy, looking at the spaces you go into, paying attention to the vibrational frequency of people and of places that you interact with, especially right after the peak experience, because that's when we're still open, and this afterglow that you may be still feeling in a way, especially when you go into meditation. That's why it's so important right after the ceremony. Another tip is eating a grounding meal, so something along the lines of carbs, maybe potatoes, maybe corn, something like this, something very earthy that can help us ground these energies and to embody them going forward. Something that helps a lot is journaling. So writing down those experiences, you probably know this already. I'll just remind you that when we write down the experiences that we had, they come to life. It's like dream journaling, right? You've probably experienced that as you start writing your dream, um, details start to come up that you thought you already forgot, but you actually are remembering them. So something like this happens here as we remember those experiences from the higher states of consciousness, then we bring them to life by putting them into words. Then there is walking in nature. Walk in nature is very powerful. Just feeling that connection, that oneness with everything. Ideally, on your own with no distractions, no music, no sound, no listening to anything, no phone checking, no talking to anyone. Ideally, also calming the mind down and just connecting with nature and letting your awareness to freely flow from one thing to the other. Dancing and moving is an amazing way to also integrate and embody the frequencies into the body, literally. Listening to music that you love, being in a like listening, like really listening to music, not listening to music as a background while you're doing something, but actually sitting down and listening to music, even if it's just one song. um, and resting and allowing, just allowing and allowing yourself to rest, to not immediately maybe engage into this high speed life, not to rev up the mind immediately, and just allowing yourself to integrate. So this is all I wanted to share with you this time. I hope you enjoyed the experience together, and these are the tips that work for us. Thank you for listening, and I love you, and I see you. Bye.
Hi. I wanted to share just another idea or another insight around integration. So, in my view, integration is nothing more than living as what we intellectually understand, living as it. So, one thing is understanding something intellectually or knowing something intellectually, and a separate thing is living as though we have integrated and activated that knowledge within our lives. And so, how to integrate experiences such as metamorphosis? I think a very good idea or approach could be through um, identifying the main insights or the main truths or the main revelations that came to you, that are the ones that you are ready to activate and to embody already, to live as though. So an example would be last night, there was a lot coming through in terms of uniqueness. So an important insight for me that I brought as a souvenir, as one of my two, three important souvenirs, is every time I compare myself or I try to imitate someone else, I come back to this reminder that I am who I am, and it is beautiful to express myself uniquely as one specific expression of the universe. So, this is an example, like you take an insight or a revelation and take a few. I know there was a ton, and there can be a ton in ceremonies, but take a few and commit to practicing them, to integrating them, to really coming back to them on your daily basis. You can create your own practices or your own reminders to keep coming back to those souvenirs. And that is, in a way, we start weaving those realities, rather those truths, into our reality. So that's something I wanted to share around integration. Much love.